Evening, everybody. It's 5:32, and this is your closing comment for today, the 29th of February. It's video number 2054. And today, if you were watching, you would have seen one of the most blatant manipulations of the markets in an election year. And that was at 3 o'clock when the markets were up roughly half of what they closed up. The Treasury came out and said that their needs for the next quarter would be down. Um, I don't know about you. First of all, this is a number that will get revised. But more importantly, there is no way in hell that this government needs less money to run. I know that they said that they received 5 trillion in taxes instead of the 4.5 that they were expecting, but that's already spent. Um, we spend about 7, so it's really not likely. And that also does not take into consideration the massive amount of debt that they are financing with the shortest term of paper. They're basically financing long term debt with treasuries and short term bills and notes. So, you know, it's an election year, and yes, the market did react in a very positive way. It will come back to bite you in the ass. Okay. So that said, the Dow was up 224, the Nasdaq was up 172. The small caps were the biggest gainers, up 3309 or 1.67. Excuse me. The S&P was up just short of 37, and the transports were up just short of $34. What was also up today, though, was the VIX, and it's unusual to get the VIX up at a time when the market is moving. And it was the same situation on Friday, I believe. Advanced declines were roughly 3-1 on the NYSE, 5-2 on the NASDAQ, but volume, which had perked up to 5.4 billion shares on Friday, traded only 5 billion today. So, um, increase in prices, lower volume, not generally thought of to be particularly constructive. Okay, so this morning we had SoFi before the open, and it was trading at 872, and that was up $1.10, looking really great, up 14%. Well, that continued all day. It actually got up to 945. So high of 782 this morning, high of 945 during the day. Last on it is 913. That's up $1.51, and that's 20%. And just so you know, those earnings were actually a surprise profit. So revenues up and a profit reported. Very strong. For SoFi, I like the stock. We've traded it a bunch of times. When it settles down now, we'll probably trade it again. iRobot and Amazon completely calling off their deal after the UK said they were going to block it anyway. Um, Amazon did nothing on it, of course, because it's just a rounding error for them. But iRobot, which has fallen from 40, hit 1380 today, but it did come back a bit. Closed at 1549, down only $1.50, and that's after they announced they were laying off a third of their workforce. Cleveland Cliffs beat, but their beat was actually still a loss, although revenues were up. The stock had been trading in the regular market at 1889, and that was up about 47 cents. It gave back a bunch of it. 1847 is the last on that name. Um, In the class end of the market, NUE, which is Nucor, which is one of our biggest and best steel producers, they beat both top and bottom line and gave good guidance. The stock had traded at 176.64, up $1.54, currently 179 and a half. That's up to 86. Whirlpool with a beat both top and bottom line, but incredibly poor guidance. That should give you an idea of what the housing industry looks like. And we're going to get Case Shiller and NAHB numbers at 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But Whirlpool was trading at 117.79, up $1.83. It actually, on the headline that it was a beat, traded up to 120 spot 30 and then turned right back down. And the last on it, the low was 112. So 120 to 112. Last is 112.88, down 308 or 2.6%. And SMCI, this one is a beauty. If you recall, 10 days ago, they gave better guidance, and the stock really took off. It had closed the day before with a low of 306 and had closed at 311. The next day, when they gave the guidance, it traded up to 428. That's right, 306 and a half up to 428. The next day it hit 485. We'll forget about the 4 or 5 days in between. It closed yesterday at 459, pardon me, 474. Currently 545.66. That's up 71.51 or 15%. That stock in the last 8 trading days has gone from 306 to 550. So pretty nice return. I'm sorry I'm not in it. They are a partner of NVIDIA and a couple of others. And also, just going to mention this in the chip space, Tesla came out and said they are going to spend $10 billion with AMD. I don't know if that's a custom made chip for them or what, but AMD closed 178 and a half today, up $1.24. They report on Wednesday. Wait, tomorrow. I take it back. They report tomorrow. We have a bunch of the big Mag 7 or 6 or whatever you want to call them reporting. We have, I mentioned it this morning, we have Amazon, we have AMD, we have Alphabet, Google, we have Microsoft. So a lot of the big names reporting this week. But tomorrow morning, as I said, the only thing that we really have of any substance is the economic news is let's see. 9 o'clock, the November FHFA housing market index and the November Case Shiller index. Consensus is 5.5 to 5.6. The prior was 4.9. Then at 10 o'clock, we have consumer confidence and the JOLTS, the December job openings. Prior was just under 9 million, 8.79. Oh, so we'll have to see how that comes out. All right, folks. As far as the futures went today, the grains were down, and oil was down $1.23 after last week's almost $5 gains. Uh, Nat gas was down another 12 cents. We have the silver and the gold higher. We have Bitcoin higher by 1140 and Ethereum higher by 45, and the bonds up almost a full point. Have a good evening.